The Black Box. The old house, in a remote village surrounded by dense forests, there stood an ancient house that dated back centuries. The house belonged to the Al-Khalidi family, who had lived there for generations. The house was known for its mysterious secrets, especially the basement, which was always locked. The eldest grandfather would always warn, "There is something evil hidden there, and whoever opens the door unleashes what cannot be put back." The family consisted of the father, Khalid, the mother, Fatima, and the youngest son, Yasser, who was always curious and adventurous. Yasser had often heard stories about the black box kept in the basement, but he had never seen it. The strange whispers. On a rainy night, as the family sat in the living room, they heard strange whispers coming from the basement. The whispers were faint but clear, as if calling someone to open the door. Father Khalid tried to convince the family that it was just the wind, but Yasser was convinced there was more to it. Yasser decided to explore the basement in the middle of the night when everyone was asleep. He took a flashlight and quietly descended into the basement. The air was cold and damp, filled with the smell of mold. As he searched through the old boxes, he found the black box covered in thick dust. It had strange carvings resembling magical symbols, and its cold handle seemed to pulse with life. The opening. Driven by curiosity, Yasser opened the box. At first he found nothing but darkness, but suddenly a cold, eerie wind blew out, and he heard a sinister laugh echoing through the basement. He quickly closed the box, but he felt as though something had escaped. He sensed a strange presence in the basement, as if eyes were watching him from the shadows. Yasser returned to his room trembling, trying to convince himself that it was all his imagination. But that night he had a terrifying nightmare. A tall shadow with glowing eyes stood in the corner of his room, laughing horrifically. The strange events. In the following days, strange events began to occur in the house. Doors would open and close on their own, and family members heard footsteps in the hallways at night. One night, Mother Fatima saw a tall shadow standing in the corner of the room, its eyes glowing red. She tried to scream, but her voice disappeared, as if something was choking her. The family began to feel fear, especially after the nightmares started recurring every night. Yasser felt guilty, believing that opening the box was the cause of all this. Searching for the truth, Father Khalid decided to investigate the history of the box. He went to the village's old library, where he found an ancient manuscript that spoke of the black box. He discovered that the eldest grandfather had imprisoned an evil spirit inside the box, a spirit that had caused death and chaos in the village. Opening the box meant releasing this spirit once again. The manuscript also contained spells that could be used to reseal the box, but they required great courage, as the spirit would resist with all its might. The confrontation. The evil spirit began to appear more frequently, causing the family to experience terrifying nightmares. One night, the spirit appeared clearly before Yasser and whispered, "You released me, and now I will take everything you love." The family decided to confront the evil spirit. With the help of an old woman from the village who knew the secrets of ancient magic, they performed a special ritual to lure the spirit back into the box. The ritual required placing the box in the center of a circle of candles and reciting the spells aloud. The terrifying battle. The ritual began, and the evil spirit appeared clearly. It was tall, with glowing red eyes, and it laughed horrifically. The spirit tried to frighten the family, but they continued to recite the spells. The battle was terrifying, as the spirit threw objects around the room and tried to extinguish the candles. At a critical moment, Yasser managed to lock the box while the family completed the ritual. The spirit began to weaken and retreated toward the box. Finally, after a horrifying battle, they succeeded in returning the spirit to the box and sealing it tightly. The end. The family decided to bury the box in a remote part of the forest, placing protective spells around it to prevent anyone from opening it again. But on every rainy night, they would hear whispers from afar, reminding them that evil could still lurk, waiting for the opportunity to return. Life returned to normal in the house, but the family knew they would never forget what had happened. Yasser felt guilty, but he had learned a harsh lesson. Some secrets should remain buried. Epilogue. In the end, the black box became nothing more than a terrifying memory in the family's history. But in the village, stories circulated about the box and the evil spirit that had been trapped inside. Everyone knew that evil could still lurk, waiting for the chance to return.